Welcome to our lecture on theme World of Music, Theatre and Opera in English-speaking countries. We will tell about World of Music, World of Theatre and World of Opera. Aim of the lecture is to familiarize with World of Music, Theatre and Opera in English-speaking countries. Objective is to explain English-speaking countries' culture. World of Music. From the very beginning, thousands of legends about the origin of music were born. The ancient Greeks knew music as a divine power. In ancient Greece, before its theoretical performance, poetic evenings played music. The famous philosopher, mathematician Pythagoras laid the foundation of musical acoustics. The vast majority of musical terms originate from ancient Greece. The great Greek thinkers Plato and Aristotle also attached special importance to music. Ancient people really understood music as a special mysterious force. The singing of birds, the swaying of trees, the waves of the sea made people's imaginations run through the numbers, and music led to the conclusion that God is omnipotent. Paying attention to the first musical instruments, they didn't differ much from the tools of primitive community. Thus, we can say that man discovered music through simple means of labor. The chorus appeared thanks to a bunch of animal whims during the hunt. It's assumed that the melody originated through the chorus. In the Greek legends, the Orpheus, it is said that thanks to the miraculous song of Orpheus, not only man and soul, but also wood and stone were subdued by him. June 21st is marked as World Music Day to mark the importance of music in everyone's life. Music is a way to bridge various cultures, genres, and traditions. The day is also known by another name, Fête de la Musique, after a music festival held in France in 1982. The idea of music through fest was conceived by the French Minister of Culture, Jacques Lang, and the day since then celebrates music and is marked as World Music Day. Another legend that is associated with the day is about how the American musician Joel Cohen proposed the idea of an all-night music celebration in France so as to mark the beginning of the summer solstice in 1976. The sound of music. You probably have a lot of English songs on your favorite playlist because some of the world's most famous singers and bands over the last 50 years have come from Britain. Music is a big part of life everywhere, but it's especially important in the UK. Here, people buy more singles and albums per person than in any other country. And on karaoke nights all over the country, you'll hear people singing much loved British anthems such as Angels by Robbie Williams, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, Don't Go Breaking My Heart by Elton John, Karma Chameleon by Culture Club, and Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. The more eclectic, the better. The Beatles. The Beatles began a new chapter in pop music history and became one of the greatest groups of all time. The band started playing in clubs in Liverpool and Hamburg in 1960. Just a few years later, John Lennon, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and Ringo Starr were stars on both sides of the Atlantic and the most important band of the decade. You could even call the Fab Four the first boy band. Groups of screaming fans followed them everywhere. The Beatles sold more albums than any other British band, and they also made 5 films before their breakup in 1970. Jazz began at the beginning of the 20th century in African American areas as a form of music that mixed European and African styles. Blues, another form of African American music, started in the southern states at the end of the 19th century. In the 1950s, rock and roll became popular, and now American rock and pop songs are heard almost everywhere. Early rock stars were Elvis Presley and Chuck Berry. Rap or hip hop, which uses spoken words against strong beat, began in African American neighborhoods in New York and Los Angeles in the late 70s and is now popular all over the world. Canada's popular music industry is booming in both English and French language spheres. Some famous Canadian singers, often mistakenly assumed to be American, include Bryan Adams, Leonard Cohen, Celine Dion, K.D. Lang, Gordon Lightfoot, Joni Mitchell, Alanis Morissette, Anne Murray, Shania Twain, and Neil Young. There is an active classical music sector in Canada that includes orchestras, opera companies, ballet companies. Performances of international artists provide extra variety to the yearly program. An important figure in Australian musical development was Sir Bernard Hines, who in the late 1920s became musical advisor to the Australian Broadcasting Commission. With his knowledge and inspiration, he helped to bring a range of high-quality orchestral music to the Australian public. Other famous musical names include the composer Percy Grainger, the concert pianist Eileen Joyce, and the classical guitarist John Williams. On a lighter and more contemporary musical note, Iggy Azalea, Sia, Kate Urban, Jet, and Wolfmother continue the legacy of Silverchair, Powderfinger, and Savage Garden, and if your memory goes back to this far, continue the legacy of the Bee Gees, Crowded House, INXS, Men at Work, Midnight Oil, Little River Band, AC/DC, and the Black Sorrows by making their mark on the world's music scene. The music of New Zealand has been influenced by blues, jazz, country, rock and roll, and hip hop, with many of these genres given a unique New Zealand interpretation. A number of popular artists have gone on to achieve international success, including Lorde, Split Enz, Crowded House, OMC, Big Runga, Beanie, Kimbra, Lady Hawk, The Naked and Famous, Fat Freddy's Drop, Savage, Gene Wigmore, Kate Urban, Flight of the Conchord, and Brooke Fraser. World of the Theatre and Opera. The theatre was born from the most ancient hunting, agricultural, and other ritual festivals, which is an allegorical form reproduced natural phenomena or labor processes. However, the ritual acts themselves were not yet a theatre. According to art critics, theatre begins where the audience appears. It involves not only common efforts in the process of creating a work, but also collective perception, and the theatre achieves its aesthetic goal only if the stage action finds a response from the audience. In the early stages of the development of the theatre in folk festivals, singing, dance, music, and dramatic action exist in an indissoluble unity. In the process of further development and professionalization, the theatre lost its original syncretism. Three main types were formed: drama theatre, opera, and ballet, as well as mixed forms. Types of theatres. Ancient Greek theatres was born from the mysteries dedicated to the patron gods of agriculture, primarily Dionysus. During the festivities dedicated to him, a choir of satyrs dressed in goatskin sang songs, the content of which were the myths of Dionysian circle. Drama theatre. Renaissance theatre was born in Italy, where the liturgical drama exists longer than in other countries, and relatively late. Only in the middle of the 15th century, the Italian equivalent of the mysterious appeared, representational sacred. In Florence, the texts for these performances were written by Magi humanist poets Feo Beccari, Luigi Pulci, and Valentino de' Medici himself. The Middle Ages English medieval theatre engraving the 19th century. After the fall of the Roman Empire, the ancient theatre was forgotten. The early ideologies of Christianity condemned acting, not only actors, musicians, and dancers, but also all obsessed with the passion for the theatre were excluded from Christian communities. Opera and ballet. During the Renaissance, opera and ballet were also born in Italy. In the beginning, there was an episodically introduced music in the mysterious. Later, music began to accompany the entire action. In the middle of the 16th century, pastoral were popular, which were accompanied by choral singing. At the end of the 16th century, works with one voice singing monody appeared. In 1637, the first opera house was opened in Venice. Claudia Monteverdi. The first opera composers were Jacopo Peri, Claudia Monteverdi, and others. In Russia, the Bolshoi Theatre can be put on the par with the above-mentioned theaters. It was founded in 1776. The building where it is located now appeared in 1825. There have been premieres of operas by Tchaikovsky, Mazepa, Governor, Cherevitsky, and Rachmaninov, The Miserly Knight, Aleko, and Francesca de Rimini, and Rachmaninoff served as a conductor. Arena di Verona. There are no analogues of this theater in the whole world, because it was built in the time of the Emperor Augustus in 1st century AD. This is an oval Roman amphitheater and most is interesting functioning. For 300 years, performances have been given on this stage, and in Roman times, gladiators died here and tournaments were held. Let's start with Italy, because it can be called one of the cradle of the theatre, because here, along with Greece and France, many theatrical traditions were born. There were theatres in the time of Rome and in the Renaissance, so the contribution of this country to the theatrical art is undeniable. The best theatre in Italy is deservedly considered La Scala in Milan. In France, the most famous theatre is Grand Opera, although its official name is the National Academy of Music and Dance. It was founded in 1669 by the poet Perrin and the composer Cambert with the signature of Louis XVII. This theatre survived the centuries of French Revolution, changed many names, but remained one of the best. In the late 19th century, Gilbert and Sullivan wrote 14 comic operas, including The Pirates of Penzance and The Mikado, which are still popular today. Their modern equivalent is Sir Andrew Lloyd Webber, who has written 13 musicals. Some of these have been playing in the West End, London Theatre District, and around the world for many years. Almost everyone will know a song or two from Jesus Christ Superstar, Evita, Cats, and Phantom of the Opera. Around half of all theatre ticket sales in Britain are for productions in London. Since 1952, there have been more than 25,000 performances of Agatha Christie's play The Mousetrap in the capital, another world record. But murder mysteries are not the only popular genre. From Shakespearean tragedies to lively musicals, there is something for everyone. If you are in Britain over Christmas, why not try pantomime? These are adaptations of well-known stories for all family, with famous celebrities playing Cinderella or Aladdin, lots of singing, cross-dressing, and general silliness, part of a tradition. There are three major theatre venues in Ottawa. The Ottawa Little Theatre, originally called the Ottawa Drama League at its inception in 1930, is the longest-running community theatre company in Ottawa. Since 1969, Ottawa has been the home of the National Arts Centre, a major performing arts venue that houses 4 stages and is home to the National Arts Centre Orchestra, the Ottawa Symphony Orchestra, and Opera Lyre Ottawa. Established in 1975, the Great Canadian Theatre Company specializes in the production of Canadian plays at a local level. Opera is a stage form of theatrical art in which dramatic action is closely fused with vocal and orchestral music. Dance is often present in opera. It was born in Italy at the turn of the 16th and 17th centuries. There are such genres as grand opera, comic opera, opera buffa in Italy, opera comique in France, Singspiel in Germany, tonadilla in Spain, ballet opera in England, romantic opera, opera ballet, and etc. The genre of comic opera influenced the formation of such genres as operetta, musical, and musical comedy in the 20th century. Opera productions are usually performed in specially equipped opera houses. An opera work is a kind of musical and dramatic work based on the synthesis of words, stage actions, and music, in contrast to the drama theater, where music performs official functions. In opera, it is the main carrier of action. The literary basis of the opera is the libretto, original or based on a literary work. The opera is an ensemble of solo episodes, arias, duets, trios, quartets, ariosos, recitatives, as well as ensembles choirs, ballet scenes, and is divided into acts and paintings, scenes and numbers. At the beginning of the opera, there is a prologue before the act, and at the end, an epilogue. A large role in the opera belongs to the orchestra. The history of opera. The genre itself emerged relatively recently, only some 5 centuries ago in Italy at the turn of the 16th 17th centuries. Its prototypes were theoretical mysteries, but in them the music was only background, and also the distribution of solo numbers was instrumental accompaniment played a big role. Interestingly, the term opera was introduced later than the work itself, so the composers who composed the first works in this genre at the turn of the 16th 17th centuries called them drama per musica, drama on music. Their appearance was due to attempt to revive the ancient Greek tragedy. Thus, the first example of new genre of that time are Daphne in Ephrodica by J. Perry. However, the operatic style of these works was still far from the classical model. The 10 great operas in the world. The first one, Anthony Vivaldi. The second, Hector Berlioz. The third one, Tchaikovsky. Number 4, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Number 6, Hector Berlioz. 7, Giuseppe Verdi. 8, Gioacchino Rossini. Number 9, George Bizet. Number 10, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Conclusion. After the presentation, we know music affects people in many ways. Music is an excellent therapeutic tool for the brain because it activates so many parts of it. Music is the art of expressing ideas and emotions in significant sound forms by using the elements of rhythm, melody, and harmony, through voices, instruments, or both. Music plays a great role in everyone's life. It keeps us busy in spare time and makes our life peaceful. Music has also been known to help reduce stress and anxiety. Listening to a particular kind of music has proved to be useful in treating depression and relieving stress. Here you have an assignment. Consider the following questions. World of music, theater, and opera in English speaking countries. Music, theater, opera, artists, and performances. Case study number 15. Thank you for your attention.